100% agree. All right, so let's move on to the second pick for the 49ers, which was Tyrion Davis-Price. Tyrion Davis-Price. He went 93rd overall, had 1,015 rushing yards in 2021, which was 6-month SEC running backs. Ran a 4.48 at 211 pounds. Were you surprised that they took a running back at all?
Yeah. You expect it to be one of the deepest positions that they already have. And some people are speculating that they did it to kind of give an olive branch to Debo, saying like, oh, look, we're not going to use you as a running back anymore. I don't think that that's the case. I think it's more the case of just trying to help Trey Lance out as much as you can, mitigating injury concerns, which kind of led to Debo having to be a running back, because I can tell you right now, Debo would not have gotten all those carries had Raheem Mostert been healthy. And I think it's interesting that they've gone from speed backs like Mostert, like Breida, who was also an injury risk, to guys that are a little bit hardier. I expect Trey Sermon to actually have a little bit more of a role this year. I don't know exactly what it was, but I don't think, people are speculating that Sermon's going to be out. I don't think you get rid of third. How much leverage did, or how much leeway did Jalen Hurd get? Right. So I don't think that he's just going to be gone right off the bat. I think there's going to be some effort put in to try to make something out of him, considering that he cost a 3rd-round pick. The more bodies you can have there, the better. He's a different style, though. But the way that they're moving the running back style is different to me. None of the backs they really have are burners at this point. They're between the tackles, runners, and put your nose down kind of thing. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I was surprised they went running back round 3. I think that would have been fine.
Right, you go like 6, right? Round 6.
Yeah.
Maybe with Elijah Mitchell.
Round 6. But round 3, I was kind of like, oh, okay, that's fine. He looks like a very physical running back, like you said, between the tackles type. Going over his profile here from Lance Zierlein, premium combination of size and athletic talent, accelerates and cuts like a smaller back, gets better with volume, runs with excellent bend, talented operating behind a lead blocker, attacks the line of scrimmage, quick to process and secure a backside cut, battering ram in open space, which I have seen plenty of highlights going around Twitter now, drops and collides with tacklers, dragging them for extra yardage, and his weaknesses: needs better patience to allow smoke to clear up front, below average feel for blocking scheme and run lane, slams into linemen's backs on regular basis, more stutter and go than one cut runner. Ball security might be an ongoing issue, which would be interesting because we know Shanahan, you fumble once, you are gone. And hands are a coin flip as a pass catcher, which isn't that big of an issue for the 49ers. Maybe it will be with a new quarterback, but we don't see the running backs primarily be used in the passing game too much.
The only thing I don't like about that, though, is when you have a running back that can, catch the ball, a true 3-down guy, it's not as obvious, right? Like we knew in prior seasons when the 49ers brought in Tevin Coleman, we knew that it was going to be a running play, or that Tevin Coleman just wasn't going to be involved. And it gets too one-dimensional. And my other issue with this pick is when you have a position need like safety, and you got a pretty good safety prospect like Nick Cross from Maryland on the board, who goes 3 picks later to the Colts. I know they so after day 2, they came out and said, if you would have woke up and told us that we would go through the draft, not trade in any position, and come away with these 3 players, we would have been happy. And I'm just like, God, you guys are just like making stuff up. It's just lies, right? Like I can tell that this is not the way that you wanted to go. You probably wanted the running back that went to Tampa Bay like 4 picks in front of you. It seems like they got jumped a few times, and instead of adjusting position, they just went next man down on the board for the position that they were going to take. Yep. And so it seems to me like the strategy wasn't fluid enough, that it was a little bit too rigid. It was like, we're going to take a running back in the 3rd round. And then when the running back they want is gone, and this is me speculating, of course, they just go, all right, well, who's next on the list? And maybe you overdraft a position or two, or a player or two at a position, because that's where you were going to go to begin with.
Matt, what does this mean, in your opinion, of Trey Sermon and how the 49ers view him?
Yeah, I think that the big issue they had with him was, character issue in terms of learning how to be a pro and things like that. I don't think that there's going to be a huge issue. To me, I think this signals that JaMychal Hasty is going to be gone. Somebody that can't stay healthy, a smaller guy, just hasn't had a ton of success. And I like Hasty too because he's got wiggle, and I think that there was potential there. It just hasn't manifested. And I don't hate to say it. I actually love saying "I told you so," but all of you Jeff Wilson Jr. stands, he came back and he was trash last year. So he could be gone off this roster too, and I wouldn't be surprised any way, shape, or form. It's going to be a battle between Hasty and Jeff Wilson Jr. to see who makes this roster. Again, Sermon, third round capital. He's not going anywhere. Elijah Mitchell was your primary starter and had nearly 1,000 yards last year. He's not going anywhere. And obviously they just took this guy in the third round, TDP, so he's not going anywhere. So really it's on the rest. And how many running backs are they going to dress? Are they going to dress 4, including Kyle Juszczyk, or are they going to dress 5? And that's going to determine whether it's just Hasty or Wilson or both. That's where, to me, Sermon's going to be on this roster.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that this signals that Trey Sermon is done or they're over him. They don't believe in him. I think you said it in the chat yesterday and you brought it up here on the show. This kind of signals maybe a change in how they view their running backs and the style that they want to operate under. Maybe that has to do with going to a new quarterback. Maybe they're implementing a new style of this offense. But I agree with you. There's no Raheem Mostert. There's no Matt Breida, a guy who can just really quick. So they're kind of going to that more grounded pound, which I respect 100%.
Well, and I think it's needed too, because people are like, well, you don't have any home run hitters. You don't have any home run hitters. Yeah, but under the old guard, right, unless it was Raheem Mostert getting to the outside, how many times did we see it's 2nd and 8? Oh, now it's 3rd and 9 because somebody hit a wall and couldn't go anywhere. At least, Sermon is a big back. Elijah Mitchell rarely pushed back. TDP on tape, one of the big things is like he turns a 2-yard run into a 4-yard run because he's always going forward. It's a lot of times in the running game, it's the little things, especially in a league where now you're going to look at what they did with Danny Gray. Danny Gray indicates that they're looking to throw the ball more down the field. So now you're talking about opening it up with the pass. And then with your running game, you just want to not get into negative situations, right? Where you're going from 2nd and 7 to 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, right? You just want to get that short third down. It opens up more of the playbook. And I think that Shanahan is tired of seeing dudes run into the back of, their linemen or not hitting a hole or getting stuffed. And this change in philosophy is going, if you look at his dad didn't have amazing burners. Mike Anderson wasn't a burner. He put his head down and went. Terrell Davis had breakaway speed, kinda, but he also was able to just mow over people. And I think this is kind of feeding into what the 49ers need. With Jimmy Garoppolo, you need a home run hitter as a running back because that the home runs down the field with Jimmy Garoppolo are going to be few and far between. With Trey Lance, maybe he feels like it's going to open up the offense more, which is why you draft a guy with 4.3 speed like Danny Gray, and you start working the passing game more. And I think that this is kind of the philosophy. And I think it's a clear signal that Trey Lance should be looked at as the presumptive starter going into next year because of the way that they're starting to transition away from the players that they were drafting before and, who they're picking up now.